what a great week. And the week just keeps getting better because Game Informer was like, all right, this Sakurai guy, whatever, Far Cry, your Metroids, whatever, we don't care. We're talking Saints Row, baby. That's right. The newly announced cover story for Game Informer is the Saints Row reboot. And Alex, I'm gonna let you take it away because you actually got to play this beauty, correct?
Yeah. Me, Shay, and John, we all went hands-on with the game for several days. We had access to the build and really kind of got to drive around the world of Santo Eliso, which is, the game's portrayal of the American Southwest. It's very much, Shay has an awesome 12-page cover story. Everybody needs to go read, and just kind of like the mentality of the team at Volition is very much like, okay, this is somewhere between tonally Saints Row 2 and Saints Row 3, more grounded, but there's still that, zany fun, that lightheartedness, that kind of weaves through everything. But this is a totally new story in the Saints Row universe. New characters, new city, new world. Johnny Gat is not in this game. They've been very clear.
Nope.
Fresh start. And as somebody who I didn't play Saints Row 3 or 4, I played Saints Row 1 and 2 with my stepdad, and well, frankly, he played it and I watched him. But I am kind of excited for a fresh start for Saints Row, and the game is definitely still feels it's still early in development, still very much in active development. So of course it wasn't polished like it would be at launch, but I was pretty impressed with the swath of activities that you can participate in. And I know, Shay, you were all about those criminal ventures, which is like this new system for expanding your empire in Saints Row. And do you want to talk about that, Shay?
Yeah, sure. So it's basically the elevator pitch of Criminal Ventures is a legal front for illegal activities. So the two that we had access to were Chalupa Cabra, which is basically you have a food truck empire, but underneath it you are running and like smuggling drugs and distributing drugs. You have a legal front of a food truck empire across the city, but underneath it you're also using those trucks to sell drugs as well. And so the missions there were like you're going over to like rival food trucks and like stealing their trucks so you could rebrand them as Chalupa Cabra trucks. It's absurd. And then the other one was Bright Future, where it's like you look like a waste disposal company on the up and up, but what you're actually doing is striking these like seedy under the table deals with corporations around the city to like dump their waste illegally. And so that involves finding these like trucks that these corporations have stashed all around the city, like up in like the mountains and out in the desert, and then driving it back to dispose of it. Like you have to drive carefully though, because the the waste is so unstable that it will explode if you get into too many accidents.
Yeah. And the way it works, it's almost like this is like this is reductive, but it is almost like a light version of I'm not even going to say that. There are city building elements in the fact that there are lots that you can accumulate, and there'll be empty lots, and you can essentially greenlight these criminal ventures, and you can pick where their buildings are going to be. So one of the examples they said, well, if you want to go to the rich neighborhood and install the toxic waste dump, you can do that. And or you could put it out in the desert if you wanted. Like they're very much about like you're kind of like your choices are kind of informing the way that the city is shaped. So John, what do you think about the criminal ventures? Like I know you were also excited by them. What do you think with your hands on?
Yeah, I think that they're pretty fun so far. Like you guys said, we only saw two of them. We were only able to play two of them. But they do get you different rewards as you do more of them. They each have their own quest line that you work through, and they also have like their own managers and characters that you can meet through the criminal ventures. So you get a little bit more extra Saints Row spice with doing those. And like you mentioned, like you can have different lots around the city and kind of customize it to make it your own Santo Eliso.
Yeah.
Your city will end up looking different from your friend's city, which you can eventually visit in co-op. Like you can start doing online co-op between like with friends, travel to their city, see where all of their ventures are, and help them out with their ventures.
And I think there's progress. Like you bring stuff back with you. Like you're not just going there and it's not that thing where, oh, I'm going to go play co-op with my friend, but then I have no progress.
Right.
They said it's very much you are, taking back progress with you.
Yeah, and not only that, but if you like, say you and I are playing together, Alex, and
Yeah.
you're late game and I'm early game. According to Volition, obviously we didn't get to see this in action.
Yeah.
If I come into your game and we do like a late game mission, and then I go back to my game will remember that I completed that mission in your world. So when I get to that in a story, it's not going to make me replay that mission.
That's really cool.
Love that. Yes.
Yeah.
More
So that's
games
pretty
need to do
awesome.
that.
Respect our
That's
time.
amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of new stuff on top of the criminal ventures. There's a revamped vehicle system, revamped driving system that includes like some really fun car combat now, where like other cars, if you ram into them, they have like health bars, and so like it's almost like I can't remember the name, like Burnout maybe, or was it Shift?
Revenge? Paradise?
I can't remember that old Xbox One. There's so many racing games from that generation.
Split Second or
Yeah, Split Second. Insert here, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you can drift around, and the drifting's really fun because the camera like zooms in on the car tight as you
It's a little
swerve.
Mario Kart-esque.
Yeah, it's very arcadey, but it feels very fun. And like ramming cars, you can
basically
jump
like
on
you
top.
hit a face button and you can juke one way or another.
Yeah.
With your car. So like if you're driving and you just like hit like left, and I think it was the X button on the Xbox controller, your car like just like jukes real quick and then back to like its spot. So it's like you're almost like just like shoulder ramming somebody, but in a car. So, but yeah, and you were talking about one of my favorite things, which is getting on top of the roof.
Yeah. You can, I forget which button it is, but there's a face button that you press, and as you're driving, you will surf on top of your car, and you can do a couple different things with that. You can, if I imagine a co-op, if your friend's driving, they can keep driving, and you can, be on top, shooting bad guys or whatever. And you can do that solo kind of, but of course the car will slowly start to come to a stop. But what's really cool is it ties into the wingsuit mechanic, which is new in the game. And so one of my favorite things that I did in the game was I drove across like this winding interstate in the desert, and I got to like the very top, and I started surfing on the top of my car, and then from there you can launch into your wingsuit, and I like propelled myself off of this giant bridge and then just started wingsuiting throughout Santo Eliso. And it's a lot of fun. And then you can just land regularly if you want, or you can land back on top of other cars and hijack them. There's a lot of really fun gameplay systems and a lot of really fun mobility, which in open world games, mobility and traversal is personally my favorite aspect. We'll get to it in a little bit, but Far Cry, that's probably my favorite aspect is, some of the new traversal abilities, just because it makes the moment to moment gameplay fun, in between missions, in between side activities. Like if what I'm doing every few seconds is rewarding to me, or like, scratching that itch for lack of a better phrase, I'm happy. And Saints Row really does nail that in my opinion.
It's nice. Kate, are you a fan of the series, or what's your level of excitement coming out of the reboot news? Yeah.
I am actually excited. I love Saints Row. I was never a Grand Theft Auto person, like at all. Like don't know why. But I've been a huge Saints Row person since 1. I never played 4, played 1, 2, 3. It was something that was just really fun playing with my friends. I mean, like usually it was like one person had one console and we all just went around and like made choices and told people to do like dumb stuff like throughout the world. And so it was always one of those games that like just resonated with me. And it's really weird because like parts of it, I feel like I'd be like, why are they doing this? This is weird. But when you're actually playing it, it just works really, really well. I don't know. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's a game that like on paper I should not like. Yeah. I really love it. Oh my God, I really love it. And I can't wait to jump back into it. And I'm just sad that there's something called Chalupa in the game because it means that it can't be in real life. And I want there to be a food truck that because it's an amazing name.
Yeah, I was surprised I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah. That's so good.
I I just want to say, like, I know there's a lot of worries out there for people who feel like this is a step back for Saints Row for like how crazy and outlandish 3 and 4 got, like
Yeah.
going into space, fighting heaven and hell. This still has a lot of that the flavor that Saints Row 2 and 3 had. I'd say in the earlier game for 3. There's a lot of banter between your group of saints. There's a lot of, I want to say, off-color humor, but it's like a little saucier humor. Like there's a point where one of the missions that we played, you as the boss are trying to find Kevin, who's your himbo rave partner, to watch telenovelas with him like later that day, and you find out he's been kidnapped by his former gang, the Idols, and
Who are like these neon, like their fashion's really cool.
yeah, it's all like Dead Mouse helmets
Pretty
and
much.
yeah, and rave gear, and trying to think of where I was going with this.
Is it the porta
The
potty?
humor.
Oh yeah. No, it's like the boss was like trying to call him up. Someone else answers, and they're like, "Oh, Kevin's tied up right now." She's like, "Oh, it's not the good kind of tied up, huh?" Like it still has like that kind of humor in there.
Yeah, totally.
So
For sure.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's taking itself more seriously than 4, but I mean, most games take themselves more seriously than 4
Yeah.
did. But yeah, like John said, there's still that fun, those quips, those lighthearted interactions, even amidst this, this conflict. And it's weird, like Kate said, like on paper this shouldn't work,
Yeah.
but Saints Row is just one of those IPs that, you give the benefit of the doubt. You kind of leave
Yeah.
your preconceptions at the door a little bit, and you're like,
Mhm.
all right, let me take this for what it is, you know?
Yeah, it's really weird because like a lot of the stuff that it's chosen to do over its tenure, and even just like some of the stuff hearing y'all talk about, and even some of the stuff like we kind of know, it is like my brain is like this shouldn't work, but when I'm actually playing it's always worked for me, and it's been one of those games where I'm like, I feel like I should be mad about some of these things here,
Yeah,
but when
yeah.
I'm actually playing it, I'm like, no, this actually works. And it also probably helps because like my entire friend group, like in that age of my life, we were just all very into Saints Row together.
For sure.
So
Cool.
Yeah. Well, that's Saints Row, guys. Anything before we wrap up this topic?
No, I'm just looking forward to it. You can read the full
Yeah.
cover story in Game Informer magazine. If you're a digital subscriber, it's live right now. Just sign into your account either on your phone, on your tablet at GameInformer.com, and you'll have access to it. Otherwise, if you're a print subscriber, it'll be arriving in your mailboxes in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and we've got a bunch of exclusive gameplay.
Yeah.
YouTube.com/Game Informer. We love when we get the exclusive gameplay.
Yeah,
And
and
that makes me and Alex happy.
We'll
Yes,
be
it
rolling
does.
out exclusive previews and features and all that stuff.
Yeah.
GameInformer.com/Saints Row.
Exclusives, baby. And that's coming February or March, right?
February 25th.
Okay, February 25th.
2 days before my birthday.
Wow.
There you
happy
go.
birthday, Shay. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing.